Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with my mom. Today, our recipe is going to be for sweet raviolis, and I'd like to introduce you to my friend and relative-in-law, Fran Trincia.
Well, thank you, and good morning, Debbie. Thanks for inviting me to come over and share this recipe. This recipe is a long-time Trincia tradition, and it came over with my grandparents from Abruzzi, Italy, a little town in Norcia. I'll never forget when I was a kid growing up, all of our cousins, 32 of us, would be at my grandmother's house punching raviolis out.
So you want to get started now, because I can't wait.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We're going to start out with the ricotta cheese. This is part Skim ricotta cheese. That's what my family uses. That's what I use. You can use whatever you want. You want to use whole milk. With this, we've drained the water out overnight, wrapped it in cheesecloth in a colander, and there was quite a bit of moisture that we extracted out of this overnight.
And this is all the moisture that came out of it. So I'm going to dump this, and he's going to begin with a nice dry ricotta.
So we're going to take the cheese out of the cheesecloth and just dump it into our mixing bowl. You don't want to over mix the ricotta, because give it a little bowl in there and put our ingredients in it. Generally put one egg just as a binder. Break the egg into a cup because we don't want
shells in
we
there.
don't want shells. You did a pretty good job cracking that.
It's all that practice.
We have sugar,
No,
salt.
no, that's salt.
Okay.
It's a little over a cup in there right
a
now.
little over a cup. So we're going to put half of it in here.
So about a half a cup you're putting
About a
in
half
there
a
right
cup.
now. And you do the taste test.
We do, yeah. We do a taste test after we get it all mixed together.
Now, he cooks like I do.
Yeah, it's just by feel, by taste.
Smell, taste.
Yep. There's no right way or wrong way to make a ravioli. So
A heaping teaspoon.
1/2, right?
Okay. 1.5 heaping teaspoons.
And we'll just take this and start
Mixing it up.
mixing it all together. The sweeter and the more cinnamon flavor that you can get in this recipe, we don't use any parsley or anything like
No
that.
cheese or anything. No, like Parmesan
nothing.
or Romano cheese. When you go to serve these raviolis, do they put Parmesan cheese on it at that point?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
Also, as a binder, we want to use some breadcrumbs.
Here, we got some spoons here.
Okay. 1, 2,
I have never
3,
put breadcrumbs in my raviolis.
4.
This is
And
blowing my mind.
this breadcrumb is just plain breadcrumb. You don't want any flavored breadcrumb. And again, you don't want to really overwork this.
Okay.
I did one time put it in a mixer.
That was not a good idea.
It was not good. So now we want a taste test.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm letting you taste test because I don't know what it's supposed to taste like. So
All
you're the taste tester.
and that is right on.
Okay. Let's get this in the fridge and then we're going to start the dough. Be right back.
We're going to start on the dough, and you have some sauce up on the range that it's warming
Yeah,
up.
that's right. I did want to mention that. Thank you for reminding me. So just to let you know, you do need to make your sauce for these raviolis. I made mine last night, so it's ready to go. All you have to do is tune in to season 1, episode 2. It tells you how to make the pot of sauce, the meatballs and everything.
Okay, so I'm starting out with 6 cups of flour, pardon me, and I'm just going to dump it in the middle of our workspace here.
And remind everyone that we washed this, sanitized it.
And I have a little bit in reserve in there. So basically, what we're doing is we're making a reservoir. Make sure your walls are nice and high.
Because you got to drop your eggs in there.
You can just go ahead and break your egg into a different container. Make sure there's no shells. We don't want shells in pasta.
Okay, the last egg is in. And we're shell-free?
Shell-free. You can do this 2 different ways. You can just dump the egg yolk and the whole ingredients right into the well. But I like to mix it first beforehand. I'm just going to beat these a little bit just to break the yolks up. And there's 4 eggs in the well. Now I'm going to add just a little little bit of salt, just a couple pinches. How about three? Three pinches of salt. And a little bit of oil.
That's about a half a teaspoon. Yeah.
Half a teaspoon. There we go. We're going to start incorporating this just right around the edges of the well, and you're just pulling that flour right in there.
And by the time you get to the outside, you've got a dough ball going on.
You should have a dough ball, unless it's shaping up pretty good. Basically, this is just a scraper. It's a culinary scraper. It really helps to incorporate different things. You can use it as a cutting tool.
When my aunt was alive, she would come for Christmas dinner, and there's no way that I would, and my mom, there's no way you would ever serve box pasta at Christmas dinner.
Absolutely not. So it's still a little sticky in the middle, and you'll feel the dough. And if you put too much flour in there, you just incorporate a little bit of water to it.
Got that ball of dough ready to roll.
Yeah, you're going to need some flour throughout the process, but not this much.
No.
Okay, so the dough ball is pretty much formed. It's going to sit here, and all the flour and the egg are going to have a chance to mingle for a little while. So we want to cover that, let it dry out a little bit.
So we're going to cover it up, leave it there like maybe 10-15 minutes.
Yep.
And then we'll be back.
No yeast in this or anything, so we're not really proofing this dough. We're just letting it dry out a little bit, so it's not so sticky. It feels really good. It feels like it's wants to be a ravioli.
Okay. And you know, if it's just a little bit sticky, you can just add a little bit more flour to it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just kind of form this into almost a log.
Now, when you get this recipe, remember you can double it, triple it, or you can do it one at a time. I do mine one at a time, 1 cup, 1 egg, mix it, and do it.
So I'm just going to cut these into some sections here. I'm going to work with one section at a time through the rollers and cover the rest.
I'm going to spread a little flour so that when he's done rolling it, I have a place to place everything.
This particular pasta maker here has the flat rollers, the linguine rollers, and then the angel hair rollers. We're not going to need these two. But this one here, we want to start out with the widest setting, which is on this machine is 1. We're going to run this through 3 to 4 times. Roll it through. I love the sound of that crank. Okay, how's it feel? Does it feel like it needs a little bit of flour? Or?
I think it feels fine. It's
Okay.
not sticking to the rollers or anything.
So we're going to go to setting number 2, and we're going to run this through twice. All right, and our final setting is 3, and we're going to run that through twice.
You want it one more time?
One more time.
One more time. Okay, you go ahead.
And that looks a little thick. We might want to go to setting number 4 and see what that does.
Well, I think you mentioned that when I was speaking to you earlier, something about setting 4.
Yeah,
okay.
That looks like it.
Because you don't want it to be all dough that you're eating.
No.
You want a nice, fine ravioli.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? See how quickly this goes?
Absolutely. Just lay it out, let it dry out a little bit.
There we go. It's right on a nice floured surface there.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful.
It is. It's
Forget
gorgeous.
about it.
Fran, I don't like over flouring because I want to make sure when I go around that it seals properly.
Right.
And you had mentioned you could just put the water around it. I like to not over flour the top. The bottom, in order for it to work well and be able to pull them up, you have to. But
Yeah, I agree.
okay, here we are, Fran. You've rolled out all the dough. This is what 4 cups makes. This is what you'll get out of the 4 cups of flour.
4 cups and 4 eggs.
Yeah,
right?
it's basically, you might have 4.5 cups
Right.
and 4 eggs. It depends on the egg and everything else. So
I'm just going to get a little bit of flour and flour up our workspace here. I have my nice bowl of cheese, and it is beautiful consistency. It's standing up. I mean, you can see. Well, when you have these the end of the loaf and you're rolling them out. Generally, they don't get real wide. So you can stuff these a couple different ways. You can just put a glob in the middle and just keep rolling it over, or you can put a lid on it, basically, and with another noodle, and then fill it that way.
Or you can cut it in half and just put that half over this half. There's so many
There's
different
no
ways.
wrong way, no right way.
So usually you use a teaspoon, and that usually gives you what you want.
So we have these formed out, and I'm just going to do the old-fashioned way. Just cut these out.
And this is how we did it back in the day. We didn't have these fancy things back in the day.
Exactly. Everybody's always thinking. You have your traditional formed ravioli.
Perfect.
We have a pot of water on here that is ready to boil. We want to put a couple pinches of salt in our water. Always salt the water. Don't ask me why. And then dump in a little bit of oil, and that helps the raviolis when they're cooking not stick to the bottom of the pot. Okay, our water is at a low boil. So generally what we do is drop them in, wait for them to float, and then probably 3 minutes, we'll check them out. Gingerly, just drop them in. You don't want to overburden the pot. So right now I have 5. Let's go with 6. Okay, our first half dozen that I put in, they've risen to the top. I'm just waiting for them to finish off for maybe 3 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to put 6 more in. You're feeding large Italian families. You don't want to make people wait. Okay, first 6 in, first 6 are coming out. They're a little slippery.
Okay, Fran, you've done a wonderful job. I just want to thank you so much. And here is our finished product. We have a couple raviolis that are heart-shaped because February is Heart Month. Let me dish one out to you. I don't think I better eat that heart one. That's too cute. I'm going to try this one. These are the sweet raviolis that I have never tasted in my life. Oh my God, that's so good.
Very good. I'd call that a success.
Can't thank you enough for coming and showing me this recipe, because now the next time I make raviolis, I'm going to make these and serve it to my family. I want to thank you for joining us today, and Fran, I want to thank you for joining us today. And I want you to stay tuned, and for next month, March 20th, the next one will come out. Remember to share, subscribe, and like. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.